What's up, folks, and welcome to the Modern Truth Throwback Thursday. I'm MJ, here with Alex Storm, and today we're going to talk about an old school movie. So, Alex, what movie are we talking about today?
So this week, we watched one of your childhood classics that I've never seen before. We watched The Monster Squad. It came out in 1987. The director was Fred Decker, and it starred a whole bunch of kids who nobody knows anymore.
Have gone on to irrelevancy.
Have gone on
That's a
to
word.
work other jobs besides acting. But yeah, my first time. Or maybe they're
Saving the
directing,
world.
writing, doing something completely different.
Yeah.
Let's not underestimate them.
Being family people.
Perfectly respectable.
Yeah.
Anyways, I liked it. I thought it was super cute. It reminded me a lot of the Goonies, just because it's this group of kids. They have like a goal. It's like all for one, one for all. They're like recruiting the older kid to get in their gang because he's cool. And I really like the monsters. This is totally a movie that if I had kids, I would have them watch this movie because it's cute and it's likable and it's got like just a little bit of scariness for little kids.
Interesting. You say, so you would want your kids to watch this movie now?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm going to table that for a second. Start off by saying this movie is CAF, cheesy as fuck, right? Now, it works for kids. I was a kid when I watched it, man. I watched this movie like every fucking week, I think, okay? Like,
See?
I don't even, these standout parts that I completely forgot about until I saw the movie again, particularly Kick Him in the Nards. The Wolfman's got nards. I always remember that. We always used to quote that to each other, all the kids in my neighborhood, But, so now let's go back to you letting your kids watch it, because I want to talk about the thing that stuck out immediately to me as soon as we started watching the movie. The first scene, kids are in school, and they're talking trash about other kids and teachers, and they're using all kinds of shit that's just not okay in 2015.
This is true.
They use the F word.
H word.
The H word. There's a lot of homophobic language coming out of these kids' mouths. Mm-hmm. And there is so lacking in political correctness across the board. It's hilarious. Now, again, look, I was around at the time this movie came out. I mean, I was like on the planet is what I'm saying. And it's fascinating to just look at how different things are, because this is still a kid's movie. But if I didn't know any better between the amount of profanity in it and the slurs in it, you would think it was rated R. I mean,
I totally forgot about that. I was not thinking of that when I said.
Like, it's not a gore fest or anything, but just seriously imagine your PC raised kid now, your 7, 8-year-old who's, been told you can't say all these terrible words. It's like, let's watch Monster Squad. Like, oh, they said that, mommy. Oh, they said that. It would be a rough situation.
Fair enough.
Somehow we all survived. You know what I'm saying? But this is, again, this is what I love about Throwback Thursdays. When we get the chance to watch a movie where we can talk about how this movie would never be made today. Now, this movie could probably get remade today. The concept,
Definitely.
Right? But there are so many like lines and just basic premises. Like, I mean, this whole subplot with them trying to find a virgin, right? And again, this virgin is portrayed as a like high school age girl. Like that's yet again something you really don't see is like sexualizing characters that are under the age of 18, essentially. I mean, it's in a child movie, okay? No, I'm not saying you don't see it in like a Showtime show or something. I'm saying in a kid's movie of any sort, where do you see them dealing with sexuality at all? Where like someone's trying to have sex with somebody, someone's making jokes about having sex, revealing that this girl is having sex, and so on and so forth. Come on, you gotta be kidding me.
I don't think we watch enough kids days nowadays, but I don't think that they've kids movies nowadays. But I don't think that they've stopped sexualizing teenage girls.
I don't see what sexualizing teenage girls has to do with directly acknowledging sex. There's two different things here. If the girl's walking out of the pool in slow motion, the guy's like, oh my God, she's so hot. That's one thing. They're like, hey, the leather-clad older kid is trying to bang this girl the entire time. Okay, like that is not really a thing that you were going to get in Despicable Me. Okay, I mean, it's just not going down like that, man. I'm sorry. Even the level of like violence in the film, particularly the very end sequence, right? Mm-hmm. They blow up the Wolfman with a stick of dynamite. He pulls his body back together. The leather-clad kid is stabbing the Dracula brides in the chest with wooden stakes. One of my favorite things, I've never noticed it because I haven't watched the movie since I was a kid, but it was hilarious to me when it stuck out, is there's just a random shot when the vortex opens and it's sucking everything through, and you see all the debris and different things getting dragged towards it. And there's a shot of one of the Dracula brides just like a dummy, basically, with the gown on it and the stick sticking out of it, just getting dragged down the street, and it just looks so terrible, and it just was the most funny thing. So look out for that at the end of the movie if you're gonna check it out. It's on Netflix. It's all good. But yeah, man, I don't know what else to say about the movie, man. Again, I watched it a lot as a kid. It's cute. It has its appeal. In a lot of ways, I would say, not that I want to remake, but I do really like the idea behind the movie, and I wish that there were more things like it. And certainly, I think there's room for a movie like it now. And I think some kids would get behind it. Because, I mean, you know, as a kid who loved horror movies and loved the idea of horror and the dark, macabre stuff when I was a kid, like this was a lighter version of that, but it still had all those horror characters. And I could, they got the mummy in here, they got the Wolfman, they got Dracula, who, by the way, was the lamest dude in the whole movie.
Dracula was pretty lame.
But it's like, yeah.
By far the coolest was the fish man.
Who did nothing but show up every once in a while out of a
scary
sewer.
looking, had teeth.
Yeah, and the creature from the Black Lagoon.
Mm-hmm. He was cool.
I was actually kind of curious about that too. I was like, because these are, I believe they're the Universal horror icons, but I don't know if this is Universal film. I'm a little confused by how they got them all together. Like, or I guess maybe they maybe never really had names. I think maybe that's what the issue was.
Maybe.
Like they called Frankenstein Frankie or something like that. I don't think they called them
Maybe
Dracula
so.
and all that stuff. I don't know.
Frankenstein was awesome, by the way. I was so excited because having not seen it, I was like, oh, Frankenstein just wants a friend. Frankenstein just wants a friend when like Dracula sends him out in the world. And I was so happy that that really was what Frankenstein wanted. And
yeah. And I know when I was a kid, Frankenstein was my least favorite part of the movie. I hated him anytime he showed up, and I still hate him now as an adult. I just thought it was so lame, you know, just
I'd be Frankenstein's friend.
A big lug with a non-functioning brain who just wants to go around and be loved or wwhatever. You know, we didn't talk about my favorite. It was probably actually the Wolfman, and hey, man, the creature design on him is actually pretty cool. I think he holds up pretty well, all things considered. There are a few issues here and there, but I mean, yeah, the movie is just. I gotta talk about the broken home thing that they kind of got going on there too. I just want to throw it out there. It's like the whole subplot of the dad and the mom not getting along and maybe thinking they're going to get divorced. All this stuff seems completely unnecessary to the story, but in some way I feel like this speaks to the time that the movie was released or something, like where this was like a thing that they had to kind of throw in there because they felt maybe some kids could identify with this with the divorce boom of the '80s. You know what I'm saying? So,
Maybe so.
Yeah, interesting stuff. Talk about diversity. There is a black detective in the movie, the partner of the main kid's dad.
And they have a chubby kid.
Diversity also includes obesity now, apparently. Okay,
yes.
Learn something new every day.
That was not a thing that used to exist in, I don't know, movies.
I think the Goonies had a chubby kid. Stand By Me had a chubby kid. No, I think
right.
actually all the movies
But
were kids.
the 80s
They said we got to get a chubby kid. We need a chubby
kid.
We got to have one. This was probably the chubbiest of the kids, but you know, yeah. So. No girl in the Monster Squad except for the little sister. She didn't really count. She didn't really do much until the very end. You know,
she's still there. Yeah, it's still more of a little would have been more of a boyish little like kid movie in the '80s. I think now it's not. I think now it's for both genders. But
for all
if it
genders.
was remade, for sure there would be a girl in the Monster Squad.
For sure, no doubt. It would not be the sausage fest that it currently is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, and the old German guy. We didn't talk about him. I also really like the old German guy.
The old German guy.
I love that he's like this creepy character and he's totally loving and gives them pie and helps them because he can speak German.
I also kind of like the idea that in this day and age they probably wouldn't have that character just because the idea of a bunch of boys going into a creepy old man's house would just have all other kind of weird connotations that no one would be able to get past, you know?
Yeah, because the kids would be discouraged from going eating pie with strangers on their block.
Yeah. They wouldn't be able to, well, this movie would end in two minutes because they would never be able to walk away from their parents without guidance.
Yeah,
so.
They would be free-range parenting.
Yeah, no free-range parenting.
Right
They'd be reported by all the neighbors once they got 2 houses past their own front door. So
a lot of things would have to change.
Yeah.
2015.
Yeah. Oh well. Again, a fascinating, sort of a follow-up to the Stand By Me discussion that we did a while ago. Because again, these movies that came out in the '80s about kids really sort of give you a glimpse into society, where they were and how they felt about children, not only from the perspective of making a movie that is marketed towards children, but the portrayal of the children in the movie itself. Turns out they thought the kids were a little more, I don't know, maybe complex or mature than
take care of themselves and be kids.
Yeah, than is currently the case. So I don't know. Again, I think we all somehow made it. So we'll see what happens. We'll see if the new generation can make it too.
Indeed.
It's a cold, harsh world out there. But
All right.
At least we got movies to talk about. So I guess that will conclude our discussion of the Monster Squad. Again, I am MJ. You can follow me on Twitter at @theonlymj, and she is...
I'm Alex Storm. You can follow me at Alex Storm, TMT, as in the Modern Truth.
And themoderntruth.com is where you can find all of our Throwback Thursday videos, movie discussion videos, and all the news you need to know. Thanks for tuning in, folks. Take care.